theme of the session is digitalization and currency. As per reports from the National Daily, the digital currency likely to be legal tender, says central banks from different countries of the world. The digital revolution may lead to a radical departure from the traditional model of monetary exchange. We may see an unbundling of the separate roles of money, creating fiercer competition among specialized currencies. On the other hand, digital currencies associated with large platform ecosystem may lead to a rebundling of money in which payment services are packed with an array of data services, encouraging differentiation but discouraging interoperability between platforms. Of course, this session, namely digitalization and currency, is going to address with selected papers in our 2 days international conference on interdisciplinary aspects of law and technology. So we seek permission from our chair to start the session.
Yes, you may go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay. Uh, we have today we have 4 participants, and will be adding 3 more participants because these last 3 participants, they did not appear in previous sessions and previous technical sessions in session 1, 2, and 3. So we are add 3 more participants in this session 4. So we have 4 participants in this for this technical session 4. One is from Law University Bhopal, and another from National Law University Orissa. Third is from Christu Jayanti College of Law, and the fourth one is from ICFAI Law College, ICFAI University Tripura. As I said, we are adding three more participants. So namely Harsh Singh, Miss Sarbari Bonik, and the third one, the last one, G. Vinayaka Student School of Law, Christ College. So let me introduce first the rule of the session we have. So rule of the session: 7 minutes will be allowed to each presenter, and a question answer session will be conducted at the end of technical session. If there are two authors, then you can split the timing, or anyone can present, other can take the Q&A session. Okay, so we will be allotting 7 minutes to each presenter, and question answer will take up at the end of the session. Not every presenter that after presentation will end, then will start. No, at the end of the session, we will have Q&A sessions. And of course, motivation plays a very important role for every presenters, or every individual. That's why our committee or our university decided to give two prizes for the 2 best paper, one for best paper and one for presentation. The editorial board, let me share you the criteria of this presentation for the best paper and for the best presentation of the conference. So for the best paper, the editorial team will decide as per the guidelines mentioned in the conference brochure. I hope every participant has gone through the guidelines as mentioned regarding your the best paper. And criteria for the best presentation of the conference, that is such as like content, knowledge, and organization of paper, clarity of presentation, significance of the paper to the field, ability to connect with audience, and finally your time management. As I said, time management is very important. All of you must stick with your time because we will be allotting only 7 minutes each. So keep in your mind always, we follow the time management, particularly the time management, very important. Of course, maybe you could be the best presenter in this session, so stick with your time management. Okay, so we and then finally, I request to our esteemed jury, please open your evaluation form, which has already been shared with you by our organizing committee members for the evaluation. So let us start. Let us start with the first presentation. We will be inviting to our first presenter. First presenter is Abhinav Gupta and Rajan Kumar. So I hope Abhinav is going to give his presentation. Abhinav, His topic he will be discussing on the unknowns of cryptocurrency and the known of liberty and change. After Abhinav, we will be inviting to Shruti Das, research scholar, National Law University, Orissa. Shruti, please keep ready your slides. After Abhinav Gupta, we will invite. So please welcome to our first presenter, Mr. Abhinav Gupta from National Law University, Bhopal. Please welcome to him. Thank you, Abhinav. Please upload your. Yeah,
Uh,
thank you. Yeah,
Certainly, certainly. I hope my screen is visible.
yeah, it's visible.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. So, presentation would be done by both me and my co-author, Mr. Ranjan Kumar, and I would request Mr. Ranjan Kumar to begin. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, good afternoon to Honorable Chair, good afternoon to other dignitaries and my co-author, Abhinav, as well. So, as Tariq Sir has already introduced our topic, that is the title of the topic is The Unknowns of the Cryptocurrency and the Known of Liberty and Change. So, we have in this paper tried to bring together or make a confluence of two ideas. One relates to the social institution that we say that how actually the economy works, what is the importance of money in that society, and how the society reacts to the government control relating to the economic function of the society. I have taken up that issue of how the purpose of the society by its changing dynamics in 21st century, the purpose of the society towards money and the medium of exchange, how it is developing at a very fast pace. Many a times we see that the governments across the globe are lagging as far as the technology is about. So what I have done is I have taken the aspect of uh, the individuation process and the aspect of liberty that in 21st century an individual asserts in the society. And then I will give it over to my co-author, Avinav Gupta, for continuing with the conclusions and other. So the idea is what I said is that from moving from feudal society, I'm not going to the ancient society. The importance of money as medium of exchange to relating to commerce and relating to industrious living has always been there. Once in 19th century, when the individuation happened, or when we say individual was born, legally speaking, this phenomena, how do we say that an individual is born, is directly related to rights discourse. It is said that it was only in 19th century that the individual was known as the bearer of rights. By that, we also mean that somewhere, if you look in the feudal society and before that, the ancient society, you will see that there was no distinction between private and public. Once we say rights discourse creates individuation in the society, we understand that this individual is a right holder, and rights such as whether you look at it from the perspective of human rights or you look at it from the perspective of new written constitutions, the phenomena which has occurred globally since 18th century onwards, you will see that in rights they give the paramount importance to things like right to life and things like right to privacy, etc. So here the individuation process shows us the need and purpose that we can associate with the changing dynamics of money, and how the individual asserts himself that my liberty is supposed to be with me and my data should not go to other persons, and how cryptocurrency as a technology that prevents such leak is has become important in our today's time. So that part of the paper deals with it, and then there is a confluence of the aspect how cryptocurrency works and what are our conclusions with respect to Indian legal system. So over to you, to my co-author.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So it is a very interesting idea, as my co-author has just informed all of you, that although we always focus on the technology, but just looking at the technology itself is not sufficient, because you need to have a background that what was the ideology which brought forth this new concept, which is cryptocurrency. And before I could conclude on those lines, very quickly, we'll look at the technology behind cryptocurrency. So, the technology, the buzzword, which all of us know, is blockchain technology. Now, blockchain in itself is something, we did exist, or it's a subset of another technology, which is distributed ledger technology. Now, what is distributed ledgers? You can see here different kind of networks: centralized, decentralized, and distributed. So those from computer science background would be able to appreciate it's a mesh topology broadly, right? So what resulted in blockchain technology? So cryptography and hashing, which is broadly relating to your confidentiality; consensus algorithm, which is broadly ensuring integrity; and peer-to-peer network, which talks about, which facilitates availability. So in blockchain technology, we could also look at from the perspective of CIA, right? I do not want to go in too much into detail. So in DLT, every node would have a ledger khata book, whereas in blockchain, rather than having one single, ledger, you have blocks, which will be containing transaction. Now, blockchain broadly can be categorized as public, private, hybrid, federated, or consortium, right? Now, these types are important because we have also proposed a model where we are, proposing a hybrid model for digital rupee, as we expect digital rupee to come in time to come. Now, this is, Bitcoin is always looked at synonymously from cryptocurrency. So these are broad parts of Bitcoin. Can't discuss, do not want to discuss it right now, right? These are again the blocks. Now, we talked about each block contain transaction. So it's not just the transactions which are related. There are various other parts in the block which is relevant. We can see the different parts of block here as well. And each block is connected with each other in blockchain. That is what is relevant, as we can see in this diagram as well. In fact, Klaus Schwab, in his book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, talks about Bitcoin, or for that matter, akka, cryptocurrency is the best known application of blockchain. It has several other applications as well, as we are looking forward from that perspective. This is a historical perspective, how Bitcoin white paper came, first transaction or the genesis block of Bitcoin, when it came to India, and other relevant details you could find here. How over the period of time RBI has dealt with cryptocurrency. The main circular which came in 2018, which was set aside by Supreme Court and IMAI versus RBI. In fact, there was an interministerial high-level committee, Subhash Chandra Committee, which was established, which submitted its report as well. Which submitted its report as well. And the big issue which we raised today is cryptocurrency legal in India or not? So I'll respond to that specific query. So Subhash Chandra Committee report, it came out with a report speaking that cryptocurrencies are good, but they have certain issues, fluctuation, vulnerability to attacks, decentralized, electricity, anonymous character, and so on. So we have proposed a model where we would be going for a hybrid blockchain, where we would have super nodes in form of either RBI or Government of India, or for that matter in consortium of banks, and then each individual user could enter this blockchain network only upon KYC. Therefore, the anonymity would be taken care of. In addition to that, the model also proposes that if there are any issues in the transaction, the supernode will deal with it. There will be no mining, because you would be directly transferring money from your account into this network, and then the transactions within the network can happen instantaneously, and so on. It's a very detailed proposed model, which I would like to discuss here, but because of paucity of time, it has been dealt in great detail in the paper itself. Now, our findings is, as my co-author pointed out, cryptocurrencies are considered as object of change, no doubt about it. They will bring, they are harbingers of revolution. In fact, the present state of, there is so much of debate about, should we regulate it, should we ban it? Government wants to regulate it, RBI wants to ban it, but it's so important that it's like an idea whose time has come. Nobody can stop it. That's the broad idea. And even if we ban cryptocurrency today, it will go under the carpet or to the deep and the dark web, but it's not going to vanish. So the best possible solution for us is to is to regulate the cryptocurrency, to prevent it from being used in cyber crimes on deep and dark web. And when we regulate it, possibly it could also facilitate financial inclusion in India as well. Thank you so much. These are some of the issues which still needs deliberation, uh, and I leave it to the attendees to deliberate upon it.
Uh,
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Abhinav Gupta and Ranjan. So, uh, the duo has presented the topic on the unknowns of cryptocurrency and the knowns of liberty and change. So, this was the presentation by Abhinav and Ranjan. So, and I remind you, we will have a Q&A session, question and answer session after the session, not now. So, if you have any questions from the audience, from the presenters, please share your question in our chat box. Okay. Now we invite the next presenter is Shruti Das. She is the research scholar from National Law University, Odisha. She is going to present her paper on the challenges of ascertaining jurisdiction of virtual currency frauds. After Shruti, we will invite Asif Pasha AB. Uh, he is from Kristu Jayanti College of Law. He will talk on regulation of blockchain technology. So please invite Shruti Das from National Law University, Odisha. Please welcome Shruti Das. Please start. Please share
Good
your
afternoon,
slides.
everybody. I'll
Please,
just share my slides.
yeah, please
Just a
share
minute.
your slide first. Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
And my
you're
slide is
audible.
visible?
Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead,
Just
please, Shruti.
yes,
Yeah, please.
sure. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity today for presenting my paper. And my topic today is challenges of ascertaining jurisdiction of virtual currency frauds, basically cryptocurrency frauds. Now, I have chosen this topic because of various reasons. We can see that cryptocurrency has been encouraged and has been given lot of value over the years, and Bitcoin being a very well-known currency and one of the most famous currencies. I have given this graph to actually understand the increase over the years, like last 7 8 years. Now, next, what I am providing is, with the rise in the value of cryptocurrency, of course there are criminal minded people who have ill motive, and they are doing a lot of scams. And in this paper, I am going to address all the types of frauds and how it is very difficult to catch those criminals because of jurisdictional issue. Now, this is the news that is collected from different news reports just from last few months, this year only, 2021, mostly in December. I have last month only, not only last. Now, in spite of the scams with the increase, and the Supreme Court, as our last presenter said, the Supreme Court said that it is cryptocurrency is not illegal in India. There are various ads done by famous celebrities, which is adding for the unaware investors for fall for scams. Now, why I have taken this topic, another thing is that privacy and anonymity is a default attribute, and also a certain extent an advantage of cryptocurrency, giving legitimate jurisdiction to multiple countries. And it is not controlled by one country, and nobody knows where the nodes are staying, where the ledgers are kept. So multiple countries will be affected by the frauds, and multiple countries will be having valid jurisdiction over one fraud. Now, there can be problems of investigative jurisdiction, enforcement jurisdiction, and adjudicative jurisdiction. Now, first we will go into, that is what I have explained in the paper, that is what are the cryptocurrency fraud and what are the law enforcement challenges in such frauds. Now, in this paper, I have discussed these four topics. Now, what is cryptocurrency? Already our previous in presenter has provided it in a great detail. It has been developed by a person whose pseudonym was Satoshi Nakamoto, and he developed it in 2019 after 2008 depression, and people lost their faith in the banks, basically. Now, if we have to understand, today at this time, the cryptocurrency market is worth more than $2 trillion. So we can understand what we are dealing with, what extent a thing we are dealing with. Now, what are the types of frauds in cryptocurrency? Now, the types of frauds basically can be categorized into three categories: theft, rug pull, and Ponzi schemes. Now, let's look into a little bit another about the data. These are the frauds which is happening. Blockchain technology, of course, it's hacking proof to a certain extent. We understand it is decentralized, distributed, but individual wallet is not hacking proof. A cryptocurrency can be stolen from individual wallets by getting access to their private key, because cryptocurrency is crypto having using the technology of cryptography. So the private key can be accessed by the hackers through cyber phishing or virus attacks. And that's how it is increasing the frauds, and through theft only. So in one theft in 2020, around three types of cryptocurrencies were hacked, and $600 million was stolen from that blockchain site called Poly Network. So that is one thing that is done by simple scams done by other people, done by simple computer virus or other hacking or phishing. Now let's go to this rug pull scam. Rug pull scam has been the buzz of the round for last 1 year, and most importantly, after the Game token fraud happened, in which many investors invested the money, and within 5 minutes, their money was means converted from dollar 2861 million to 1 cent. So we can understand that this is a little higher level of scam which happens to in case of cryptocurrency. Now in this case, is rug pull scam actually happens in three categories: stealing liquidity, disabling the ability to sell tokens, and developing cash out. Now what is stealing liquidity? Stealing liquidity is that in this step the developers develops a scam token and creates a liquidity pool and equates it with a well-known cryptocurrency. Now what can be the well-known cryptocurrency? Well-known cryptocurrency can be Ether or Bitcoin. They say that one Bitcoin equals to 500 scam tokens. Now the investors are lured to buy it, and later on, what the developers do? Developers just take out the valid coins and their coins, and they get all the money, and they just go away with the money they have with the valid coins and the money, making a big loss for the investors. Now the second type is disabling the ability to sell coins. Now what is disabling the ability? Here investors cannot sell coins, they can buy coins only. The developers can sell coins, and whenever they feel like their money has reached, then in that case they just sell their coins and get the profit, and they just move out.
Shruti,
And
please excuse me. Please come to the findings. We have.
yes, sure. The next is the how the jurisdiction issue happens. Jurisdiction issue happens in this anonymous. These are the four problems which happens, is that anonymous users, in case of cryptocurrency, anonymous users are having a lot of they are utilizing the anonymity of transactions, and that's how jurisdiction ascertainment is very limited. Now not restricted to country, Bitcoin is not restricted to country, and there are different levels. The Bitcoin is treated differently in different jurisdiction, so it becomes difficult to ascertain what laws will be available, and also evidence collection becomes a very difficult thing. Even MLATs cannot be applicable. Even investigation has, most of the Bitcoin's frauds investigation has not been completed. Now recommendation, I have three recommendation: laws to regulate cryptocurrency, determine how to treat cryptocurrency, and international harmonization of laws. And till the time we have come up with the law, we have to restrict the advertisements and all, so that it can lure less people to fall into scams. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti Das. So this was a presentation by Shruti. She had covered the various challenges of ascertaining justification of virtual currency frauds. So our next participant is Asif Pasha from Christu Jayanti College of Law. He is going to present on regulation of blockchain technology. So please welcome to Mr. Asif Pasha. Please, Asif.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon, Asif.
Sir, is my screen visible?
No, not yet. Not visible. No.
Hmm,
Yeah, yeah.
no, sir.
Now it is visible. Please go ahead, please.
Yes.
Start.
So, good afternoon, everyone. The topic today I'll be presenting about is regulating internet coins.
So Asif, after
Uh,
Asif, we will invite Dr. Raghunath Chakravarti. So Dr. Raghunath, please keep ready your slides after Asif Pasha. Please, Asif, go ahead. Thank you.
yes, sir. So, before speaking about regulating cryptocurrencies, we should look at the possibilities of the cryptocurrencies getting banned in India. Uh, in India can impose a blanket ban on cryptocurrencies just like China did a few months ago. But because a large portion of the population is already trading cryptocurrencies, and because of the nature of internet, a ban would only pave way for creation of a parallel black market economy. In 2018, RBI had issued a circular that prohibited the banks and other entities from dealing with cryptocurrency exchanges. Because of this, crypto exchanges weren't able to connect their bank account, and this indirectly led to the ban of cryptocurrencies in India. But in and Mobile Association of India versus RBI, it was observed that RBI had wide powers and played a very important role in upliftment of Indian economy. But they were unable to show that any sort of damage was suffered by its entities, and the Supreme Court quashed the circular of RBI. And in 2018, there was a bill that wasn't tabled in the parliamentary session and wasn't taken up by either of the houses. It was titled as Banning of Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2019. But in 2021, a revised version of the same bill has been listed and is to be taken up by the Parliament in the ongoing winter session. That bill is titled as Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Digital Currency Bill 2021. As we can see that there is a clear difference between both the bills. The first one was here to ban cryptocurrency, and the next one is here to regulate cryptocurrency. Also, our finance minister is giving very favorable comment towards regulating cryptocurrencies in India. Now we can conclude this slide by telling that our government is now taking very progressive step and forward-looking approach towards cryptocurrency. And since a ban is not a possible way, the next right thing is to regulate cryptocurrency. And the objective of my paper is to identify regulation for cryptocurrencies by analyzing the regulation of other currencies and suggesting best measures that are suitable for our economy. In this paper, I have compared legislation of some important currency countries and uh, suggested some measures to develop our own, which is suitable for economy. Some of the suggestions are in the following slide. uh, Ban on privacy coins. So there is a widespread misconception that all crypto transactions are anonymous. It is true, but to a certain extent only, because all the transactions of most of the cryptocurrencies can easily be viewed by anyone. All they have to need is a system with a good internet connection. Uh, but there is a category of cryptocurrency coins called privacy coins. The feature of these coins is that all transactions are completely hidden. They are based on private and secure blockchains, and the sender and receiver's address are completely kept anonymous. And this is a concern. This category of cryptocurrency is really a big concern for our country. And whenever there is a regulation, there must be a strict rule against to be followed by the developers of these currencies, or these currencies must completely be banned as they might fund illegal activities. There are over 15,000 cryptocurrencies in India as of in the world, and new coins are being added every single day. Most of them aren't genuine and last for a very short time. Like the last presenter had told about Squid Game coin. Squid Game was a really famous series that was launched by Netflix a few months ago, and some developers took advantage of the hype that was around this series and created a duplicate coin of their own, and this coin lasted only for 5 days, but it had the prices of the coin skyrocketed over 200%, 200,000 percentage, from less than $1 to more than $2,000. And after 5 days, when the currency hit 3.4 million in market cap, the developers decided to uh, rug pull the token, and all of the investors were left with nothing. So we have our regulation must consist really strict norm for new coins to enter into our Indian market, so that young and enthusiast uh, uh, investors of ours won't be rug pulled. Digital assets. The cryptocurrency shouldn't be considered as a legal tender because of its high volatility. Also, the RBI does a very good job looking at our monetary policies, which leads to upliftment of our country. So, crypto should be regulated as a digital asset instead of digital currency. At the end, I would like to say that we must regulate in crypto in such a way that it includes every single branch of cryptocurrency, that is NFT, DAOs, blockchain, DeFi, and there must be complete clarity, and people shouldn't have any difficulty before investing in cryptocurrency. That's it. Sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Asif. So this was Asif Pasha presentation on regulation of blockchain technology. So let us invite our next presenter, Dr. Raghunath Chakravarti, Assistant Professor, ICFI Law School, ICFI University, Tripura.
Good afternoon, sir.
He will be speaking on cryptocurrency legal issues and development. So please welcome to Dr. Raghunath. After
Good
Raghunath,
afternoon.
we will invite Harsh Singh. Harsh Singh, please keep ready your slides. Okay,
Good
so
afternoon, sir.
good
Actually,
afternoon.
myself is Professor Raghunath Chakravarti. I have submitted my thesis yet to be doctor. So
Okay,
that's why actually
it's
maybe
okay.
that. Okay. Anyhow, with the permission of honorable chair and co-chair, I am going to start my presentation. Sir,
Please go ahead.
that my presentation is visible.
No, please share your slides, not visible. Please upload your slide first,
Sir, I have shared.
but not visible yet.
Maybe some network issues. Sir, maybe some technical glitch. Is it possible to share from your end? Okay. Okay, now it is there. Sir, now is it visible? Hello? Hello?
Not
Please try
yet.
again. Please try. Not visible. It's not visible.
Sir, is it possible if time is going on? So, is
Yeah,
it possible
you can
from,
read from your, yeah, yeah.
yes, sir. Is it possible to share from your end? Because there may be some technical glitch. I don't know.
For this we can't because I don't have your slides right now.
Okay, sir. I have, sir, I have
Okay, you
shared
can,
again.
yeah, please.
Sir, I have shared again. Is it visible?
Not visible. Yeah, it's visible. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, and sorry for this technical glitch.
It's okay. It's okay. We can understand.
So, my topic, and that is cryptocurrency, legal issues and developments. Just few things, because before myself, many speakers already they have discussed on these issues. Like, if we are going into the introductory part of the paper, that we are going to discuss what is this cryptocurrency or digital currency. Digital currency, in which transactions they are verified and records are maintained by decentralized system, and that is by cryptography and rather than by centralized authority. So if we are going to focus on many other definitions, that cryptocurrencies are also known as the fiat currencies, as they are not backed by or convertible into commodity. So if in history also, history is not so long, if it is going to be cryptocurrency, that is bitcoin that was made in 2009, and that is actually came into existence, if it is there, that much before the production of bitcoins, that early work on digital forms of money, that is followed back to the 1980s, when David Combe composed broadly on cryptography and advanced money in his paper Security Without Identification. So that earlier speakers also given discussion on this particular topic. And if we are going into the benefits of cryptocurrency, definitely economically efficient, and that promoters of digital forms of money, they trust a decentralized installment framework that work through the web. So concept of blockchain is different thing, but blockchain is actually a subset of supposed circulated record innovation, and that is known as DLT. Some earlier speaker already discussed on this topic of DLT. Blockchain is a component that utilizes an encryption strategy that known as cryptography, and utilizations that a set of explicit numerical calculations to make and confirm a constantly developing information structure. In case of blockchain also, there are some blockchains working technology. That blockchain, it is a distributed database. Then transaction blocks are signed with a digital signature. It is going to work through digital signature using a private key. Then they are going to continue with the policymakers. If we are going to focus on the affiliated bodies of this particular blockchain technology or cryptography or cryptocurrency, then the European Central Bank, they have arranged digital forms of money as a subset of virtual monetary standard. European Central Bank is the prime component of the euro system. And if we go for ahead, that International Monetary Fund, IMF, it is also like ECB, that has classified digital currencies as a subset of virtual monetary forms, which it characterizes as computerized portrayals of significant worth given by private designers. And then the Bank for International Settlement, BIS, has qualified cryptographic forms of money as advanced monetary standards or computerized cash schemes. The Committee on Payments and Market Infrastructure, CPMI, is an international standard setter that promotes and monitors and makes recommendations about the safety, efficiency of payment, clearing, settlement, and related arrangements. So if we go into all these highly powerful authorities of world recognition, we know that world bodies, or we may say the affiliated bodies, that may be the European Securities and Markets Authority, ESMA, or World Bank, that World Bank also has grouped cryptographic forms of money as a subset of advanced monetary standards. So they have set their standard with the cryptocurrency and this Bitcoin. But if we come into the country wise also, that various jurisdictions, that earlier some speaker has also discussed, like United States of America. So in my paper I have given focus to these two topics, that how the jurisdictions, how the various jurisdictions they have given this thing, and they have actually what are the laws. So the United States of America, they are saying that cryptographic forms of money are controlled by the government, just as state controllers. And in UK, there is no particular monetary administrative system for virtual currencies, that contingent upon the idea of the exchange including each crypto asset. So if we come into India, that a few minutes back Pasha sir has discussed, earlier speaker, that RBI. RBI has asked all the regulated entities, including banks, to refrain from providing services to any individual or business dealing in digital currencies. If we go into April 5th, 2018 circular of RBI, RBI has very clearly discussed in its annual report that though cryptocurrency may not currently pose systematic risks, its increasing popularity leading to price bubbles raises serious concerns for consumer and investor protection and market integrity. So this is the reason that RBI has banned this type of currency in India, which was struck down later on in 2020, and now government is going for a law. Now, in China also, if we go for People's Republic of China, that since December 3, 2013, all monetary organizations in China have been restricted from offering any types of assistance to virtual currency stages. In this manner, on September 4, 2017, a declaration on forestalling token that issuance and monetary risk was mutually given by the People's Bank of China. So these are the actually various types of interpretations of various countries regarding this cryptocurrency. And if we come into the SEBI, that in India, that market regulator, that assuming that virtual monetary forms offered and considered as a security as venture by financial backers, then their advertisers will fall under the word of SEBI. So in any case, assuming advertiser issues cryptocurrency as initial coin contributor or ICO, this is actually created by SEBI. At that point, advertisers can offer and deal cryptocurrency without setting of SEBI regulations. Now, just the value token, a subcategory of ICO, can fall under the guidelines of SEBI. SEBI has only given some circulars. There is no specific regulation also on this particular topic. And if we come into the conclusion part, that actually I am focusing what we have discussed till now in this paper, that there are many jurisdictions, and there is that cryptocurrency is not restricted to any particular country. But if a particular country like India, if it is going to ban this type of currency, and if you go through the recent some events, that blue whale game, some of the internet games, only if one can invest the cryptocurrency, that he can use that particular type of game. These are the conditions. So actually currencies are there for exchange, and if it is going to be banned, then how? And many developing countries and developed countries, China and India, both are, one is developed, another is the developing, so both are in a condition to ban this particular type of currency in this age of internet. So we have to think, we have to go ahead, that we have to give us opportunity, but with regulation. That is my idea. With this idea, I am going to conclude my presentation. Thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Raghunath Chakravarti. And this was a presentation by Mr. Raghunath. He presented in his on his paper in his presentation on cryptocurrency, and he had covered the legal issues and development. And we wish him all the best for getting his doctorate degree. And our now it's time to call our next presenter, Mr. Harsh Singh. And Harsh Singh, he had missed his presentation before in the previous technical sessions. So now we invite Mr. Harsh Singh. He will be speaking on cyber defamation and analysis of defamation in internet age. So
Uh,
please welcome to Harsh Singh and Prachi Singh.
Good afternoon, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, please share your
Uh,
slide first.
yes, sir. Sorry, Sir Harsh won't be available. Actually, it's our final semester exams are going on. So the reason why we didn't give the presentation yesterday was the same. We had our exams currently going on, and
It's
he has
okay.
the elective paper today.
Go ahead. After Prachi Singh, we will invite Miss Sarbani Bonik. So, Miss Sarbani, please keep ready your slides after Prachi. Please welcome to Prachi Singh now.
So is the slide visible? So is the slide visible?
No, ma'am, it is not. Yes, ma'am. It is. It is.
It is visible. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. I feel so obliged here, like all the PhD graduates, all the senior faculties here. Currently, I'm a final year energy law student from UPS Dehradun. The topic is cyber defamation and analysis of defamation in internet age. As we all know, the internet is growing in a very huge margins, in a very new dimensions, and cyber law and cyber security is one of the main reason why we might have havoc or have a complications either ways. uh, Before starting, a basic introduction to cyber defamation is the defamation plus internet. Cyber defamation is not specifically a crime anywhere, like it's not defined anywhere having a separate legislation to it. However, there are major judgments provided with respect to it. Cyber defamation is not a specific criminal offense, misdemeanor, and tort, but rather a defamation or a slander conducted via digital mode, usually through internet or through any like, basically it's through internet or via some cyberspace xyz. The term defamation is used to define the injury that is caused on the reputation of the person in the eye of a third person. The injury can be done by the words oral, written, sign, visible representation, or any movement or any gestures. The intention of the person making a defamatory statement must be to lower the reputation and the person against whomsoever the statement is done. Third, the cyber defamation is a very new concept, but the traditional definition in terms of cyber, in the terms of defamation, is included with the term of cyber defamation. It's now known as defamation in through internet or defamation via internet. Uh, like cyber crimes in general and conventional crimes in general are same yet very different. If we talk about in general crimes like murder or theft, cyber theft is still a crime which is existing in the current situation. However, cyber murder is not a crime yet now. So conventional crimes and cyber crimes is a very distinct different, yet they are same to a typical quite an extent. Cyber crimes are the crimes which are committed through internet, but are not like have a very rational difference between the conventional crimes. The paper consists of a distinction or a comparative study between the three major Commonwealth countries, or a major developing, developed, and a moderate developed country. Like United States is a developed country, India is a developing country, and United Kingdom is not fully developed, not developing. If you'll go through the whole paper, if you'll see my paper, there's a distinction between the United States law like CDA, Communication Decency Act. Then there is the First Amendment of the United States Common Law. Then there's a major case, the New York Times versus Civilian case, which was the origin of the cyber defamatory thing, which was basically the origin of the whole defamation concept altogether. United Kingdom, if we go further, United Kingdom has a very separate Defamation Act 1966, which talks about all the defamation possibly happened. They also include a defamation via internet area, not explicitly, but they have a clause with respect to it. If we talk about India, India don't have a proper law which talks about the cyber defamation parts. However, there are statutory provisions which governs the defamation in general. For example, section 499 of IPC, which talks about the defamation. Then section 469, which talks about whosoever commits forge or intent that the document or electronic records shall have harmed the reputation of a particular person, not defamation, but a sort of another way. Third, 503, which talks about the offenses of criminal intimidation. Then the law which was which was repealed after Shreya Singhal versus Union of India judgment, section 66A of IT Act, which somewhere talks about the same concept. However, the definition was so broad, it was repealed. There was this one small case law I would like to mention before leaving. It's also have a very detailed discussion in the paper itself. It's the SMC uh, Pneumatics India Private Limited versus Jogesh Kavatar. The reputation of the corporate was being defamed by the employee, and some derogatory statements were sent to the other members working in the other employees working in the corporate sector. Later, the Honorable Judge of the High Court passes an ex parte and an interim injunction observing that the prima facie of the case has been made by through the plaintiff. Consequently, the Delhi High Court restrained the restrained the defendant and for sending any derogatory, vulgar, or obscene material. There were a lot of fluctuation with respect to sales, and stockholders faced a very huge amount of loss. It was not asked by the court to pay the compensation. However, honorable judge also quote that there should be a restraining order against the defendant for publishing any or transmitting any sort of defamatory statement against the company or any employer of the company. Last, before concluding the whole paper, you will see few recommendations also in the paper itself. But the conclusion of this whole thing is internet is growing and we need to develop our laws with respect to it. Earlier we didn't knew about cyber theft is also a crime, but now it is. So cyber defamation is also a growing thing, and it will have a very negative impact, be it any gender, any caste, or any society. Thank you.
Thank you, Prachi. So this was Prachi Singh from UPS Dehradun. She presented on cyber defamation and analysis of defamation in internet age. Our last presenter is G. Vinayaka from School of Law, Christ University. He is going to present on a critical study on the dispute settlement of international trade dispute under World Trade Organization. So please welcome to our last presenter, G. Vinayaka. Vinayaka, please share your slide first.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, Ms. Sarvani Bhomik and Mr. Nilan Chakraborty was in the list after
Okay.
that.
So, okay, no problem. We'll invite after Vinayaka.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
Yeah, please. G. Vinayaka.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, is my screen visible?
No. Yeah, please share your slide, G. Vinayaka. G. Vinayaka, please share your slide. Okay, no problem, Vinayaka. We will invite you after Nilanjan Chakravarti. So now we are going to invite Nilanjan Chakravarti and Ms. Sarvani Bhonik. They are going to present on prospects and challenges of digital technology in the life of the elderly people, crafting prominence of their life during the pandemic. Okay, so after Sarvani Bhonik and Niranjan Chakravarti, we will invite our last presenter, G. Vinayaka. Okay, please start, Niranjan.
So it's visible, sir?
Yeah, it's visible. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. A very good afternoon to
Yes.
all the attendees, to all the
Good
chair and
afternoon.
couch chair.
Good afternoon.
So today we'll be talking about that how the elderly people are. Yeah. So, how the prospects and challenges of digital technology in the life of elderly people, crafting prominence to their life during the pandemic. Now, if I'm talking about uh, the the digital technology in the times of pandemic, right? So we all know that this pandemic wrote history in terms of the extensive use of digital technology like never before, and likewise it has opened a plethora of mobile applications that have eventually eased out our lifestyle. So these applications brought a kind of reprise in the muffled minds and desires of the people, starting from young to elderly people. So these applications, to a great extent, had successfully brought some kind of autonomy during the lockdown in the lives of the people. So digital technology, no doubt, eases our lifestyle and well-being, and with minimum efforts, we can avail too many benefits without being dependent on anybody. So the significance of the digital technology was very much felt during this pandemic when the digital technology was the only means of communication and availing essential services and activities. So accordingly, we found that there was a rise in the number of digital technology users. So one very so we can see in the slide that there are number of apps, the social networking apps, the food delivery apps, the medical apps, grocery apps. All these apps are very much important and were very much useful in the times of the pandemic. So, how the use of the digital technology by elderly people in the times of pandemic was observed during that particular time. Now, if I'm talking about the elderly people, one very important observation we received during the pandemic that uh, is that a very considerable population of elderly people were also seen using digital technology overwhelmingly. So few required assistance and few did not, because and most of them were well aware of the concept of digital technology. However, soon after the rigors of the pandemic eased out, many elderly people absorbed themselves from using them any further. So the most common reason was that there was no easy or special remedy available for them to seek if anything goes wrong while handling these technologies. And it is reasonably obvious that due to their age and vulnerable nature, they are not very conversant using them. Neither they do have the patience and energy to invest for seeking the remedy. So the problem lies in the procedure to seek easy and appropriate remedy. In case of any catastrophes, there is a lack of awareness among the people, and, especially in the elderly ones, regarding the utilization of digital technology and in a very apt way, and so as to avoid any kind of complications or catalysis. So whenever I'm talking about the data, we have made a small study in this particular regard, and that study was a hybrid one. One part was doctrinal, and another part was non-doctrinal research. And in doctrinal research, we have referred a few of the research papers and few of the review articles, few books. And under non-doctrinal research, we have a questionnaire was drafted and was reached out to 100 senior citizens living in the state of West Bengal, and it was conducted in the month of October 21. So through this study, we placed a few stakeholders, the participants of the survey. Now, the participants were the stakeholders were the job holders, the retired persons, the businessmen or businesswomen, the housemakers, and other professionals. And we have kept the age group from 55 to 60 years, 61 to 65 years, and 66 to 70 years. Now we can see that in 55 to 60 years, there is 36 people. 61 to 65 years, we can see here 13%. And 66 to 70 years, 51%. Right. So these are the participants of the survey. Now, we have put a question like the applications used pre-pandemic. Before pandemic, these applications were used by how many senior citizens? Now, the social networking sites, in case of social networking sites, they all said, okay, 34 people have used it, 45 people have not used it, and 21 people were not aware of it. If I'm talking about food delivery apps, 4 people were using it, 65 people were not using it, and 31 people were not aware of it. So, so similarly, in medical apps, grocery apps, COVID protocols, we can see certain kind of yes or no and not aware the responses pre-pandemic. Now, while the pandemic was going on, we can see the increase in the numbers of the usage. In social networking sites, 74 people have used it. 17 people have not used it. 9 people were not aware of it. Now, food delivery apps, 45% have used it. 48 people have not used it, and 70% people have were not aware of it. Now, through this through this particular data we can conclude. Now in this particular thing we have put like another question that did they use any kind of assistance or not. Job holders said yes. 57% people said yes. 43 people said no. So retired persons, 73% said yes, they needed the assistance. 27 people said no, they haven't get any assistance. So if I'm analyzing these data, we come across certain points. The first point was considering the primary data so collected, so it can be concluded that without any reasonable doubt, there has been a considerable increase in the digital technology users. During the pandemic, the elderly people profoundly used the social media applications, video conferencing, Zoom, Google Meet link, WebEx, and all other entertainment applications. Why? There was a reason behind it. So it was pretty much obvious that because these elderly people have special needs entrenched to them, and the most important amongst them is insecurity. Now, they need to combat every day their isolation, their loneliness, and the lockdown somehow they pushed more, they pushed them more into it. So, with the means of these applications, they had overcome the limitations and found better ways of being happy and connected. In point three, we have discussed that how the job holders, how the businessmen found the use of digital technology extremely beneficial and worthwhile because they were totally they got uh, connected with their customers, with their clients very easily, and they could establish connections among all the stakeholders. So the job holders and the businessmen found these particular technology very much useful. Now the stakeholders staunchly agreed that most of them would not continue using digital technologies after pandemic. Why? Because it was only the business cycle who had strongly supported the continuation of use of technology for better business ventures. So the probable reason were avoidance of technical glitch. Whatever technical glitch we were facing at that particular point of time through digital technology, they were
Mr.
not
Niranjan,
wanting.
please, excuse me,
Yes.
please come to the conclusion and finding of your
Sure, sure,
study.
sure, sure.
Thank you.
So the first, so the next point was case study, and after that, I came up with the recommendations. Now, what are the recommendations here? What change I want to see? The first will be the better transparency should be maintained in every application. Better transparency should be maintained. All the applications must provide proper tutorials for the first time users. For all the users, a proper tutorials are very much important. Proper and effective customer care service cell must be maintained. A proper customer care cell is very important for every app, for every single portal. Now, setting up a prompt and operational redress agency. If there is a proper mishandling of any case, if there is a mistake, to whom the person will go. Now, a prompt and very operational redress agency is very much required. The public awareness is extremely important. If the public is not aware of all the situation here, then they will not be very much aware of the future consequences. And the liability of the intermediaries must be checked. Whatever I'm apps using, these are all intermediaries. WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook, Zomato, these are all intermediaries. So the liability of the intermediaries, the burden should be checked, or the burden should be regulated in the intermediaries. So with this particular recommendation, I close my presentation, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Niranjan.
Yeah.
This was presentation by Mr. Niranjan on prospects and challenges of digital technology in the life of the elderly people, crafting prominence to their life during the pandemic. So let me tell you, this paper was contributed by three authors. First is Sarvani Bhonik, Mr. Niranjan Chakrabarti, and Dr. Ripon Bhattacharya, all three from Adamas University, Calcutta, West Bengal. Thank you, all three authors, for your contribution. So we have last
Thank you
presenter
so much, sir.
is G. Vinaika from School of Law, Christ University. He She is going to talk on a critical study on the dispute settlements of international trade dispute under World Trade Organization. We have last presenter. Please welcome to G. Vinayak.
Yes, I'm sharing in a moment.
Yes, please.
So is my screen visible?
Not visible. Please share your slides.
Yes, sir, I'm sharing.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, please. Go ahead,
Yes, sir.
please.
Okay.
Please start.
Yes, sir.
Please start your presentation, G. Vinayaka. Please start your presentation.
Sir, I'm having some trouble in sharing.
G. Vinayaka, if you have any problems with your slides, so please you can start your presentation. No problem. You can speak now because we are already late.
Okay, sir.
So please start your presentation. If you have any problem, you can start. You can speak.
Okay, sir. Okay. So
Yeah, please go ahead.
good afternoon, all. My topic is a
Good
critical
afternoon.
study on the settlement of international trade dispute under the World Trade Organization. So, speaking about the dispute settlement system, dispute settlement in international trade has evolved from the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, that is GATT, to the present day, with the dispute settlement body reflecting an increasing importance to a system that is not based on power. So the
Okay.
WTO mechanism is hailed as a as a new development in the international economic relation that is more than just about power. So the WTO's automatic and mandatory dispute settlement system is one of its most notable and successful feature. It is one thing for countries to agree to a treaty. It is quite another to enforce a treaty's compliances. So basically, WTO members have frequently used the dispute settlement system, and with a few notable exceptions, the system has been able to resolve the disputes. The trade dispute trends show that the developed countries are more active in the organization's dispute settlement process than the developing countries. It also plays an important role in resolving the trade disputes. And to ensure that the developing countries participate in the dispute settlement process in an equitable manner, the WTO should increase assistance and technical assistance to these developing countries. Now let's talk about the origin of the WTO dispute settlement system. The dispute settlement system was not in operation from 1st Jan 1995. This system is based on almost 50 years of experience in the settlement of trade disputes under the GATT. So Article 3 Clause 1 of the dispute settlement undertaking states as follows. Members affirm their adherence to the principles for the management of disputes heretofore applied under Articles 22 of GATT 1947 and
Vinayaka,
rules
if
and
you don't mind, please come to the finding of your study so we can save our time. Please.
okay, sir.
Thank you for your cooperation in advance. Thank you.
So basically, talking about we have mainly four stages in settling a dispute, and first is a consultation, second is a panel proceedings, third is the appellate review proceedings, and fourth is the implementation and enforcement. So talk about consultation. If any WTO member feels that their interest has been violated by any other member state, this member can request for consultation, and it is up to the other member whether to enter into consultation or not. The member to whom the consultation notice is sent should respond within 10 days and enter into consultation within a period of 30 days. Now, the second stage is the panel proceedings. When a consultation turns to be a failure, the complainant may request for the establishment of a panel, and after hearing both sides and taking into consideration the evidence submitted by both the parties, the panel report is made. And the third stage is the appellate review, and in this stage, a party's notification must be given to the dispute settlement body for a decision to appeal, and within 10 days from the notice of appeal, the appellate must file a written submission. And after considering the appellee submission, the decision will be taken accordingly. And the last stage is the implementation and enforcement. And after the adaptation of the panel report or the appellate body report, within 30 days, a DSP meeting will be convened, and the concerned members have to inform the DSP as to what they are supposed to take. So my findings from the study is that there are some challenges that have been faced by the dispute settlement system. And first challenge is that DSB is nowadays taking up political issues, and interfering into political issues for an international organization can pose a lot of threat to the proper functioning of this organization. And the second thing is, in the appellate body, there are 7 members, and as of now, there is no sitting member. The last sitting member of the WTO appellate body retired on 13 November 2020, and now there is no appellate body. So now appellate body is not in a position to take up any cases. So as a suggestion, I would say that if these vacancies are not filled as early as possible, then the functioning of the entire dispute system will be affected, and it cannot be effective as it was before. Thank you.
Sir, you are on mute.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I invite now it's time to start the Q&A session. I invite to all audience or from the participant, you can ask your questions to our presenters or our chairs. So please feel free to ask your questions. Any questions from the audience, from the presenters? Okay. Okay, now let's go to our, yeah.
Sir, I
Please.
have a question to the first presenter. That is, he has spoke about a model, and I wanted to understand that how it fits with the concept of decentralization and distributed system that cryptocurrency stands for. I am very that was a very inquisitive part of your presentation. I am very interested to know, sir.
Right.
Mr.
So, thank you. Thank you. May I share my screen once again so that I can show you?
Yeah, you can speak. You can speak. You can speak.
Okay,
No problem
fine.
without slides.
Not an issue. Thank you, Ms. Shruti, for asking that query. So the broad idea is our model is a hybrid model. So it's a mix of public and private blockchain. So in this model, what we are doing, that we have created a perimeter, right? And it's like when you want to enter any network, you need to have the login and password. And who provides you that login and password? The administrative node or the super node. So in our model, either RBI could be the super node or the admin node, or the government of India could be super node or admin node, or possibly even the consortium of banks. Now, the whole idea is you would be able to enter that network only when you have done your KYC, right? So the anonymity aspect is gone, right? Plus, once you enter that network, you would have a wallet where you would be storing your money, right? Just like your Paytm wallet or other wallets. It's just here the wallet would be issued and given by the government. So either the government of India or the RBI, whichever way, and you can get to choose what kind of wallet do you want. So you want a wallet where you can configure yourself, or you want a custodial wallet where you want the RBI. You're technically not very sound. You want RBI to maintain that wallet so that any transaction to and fro, RBI can manage it again. So it's in a very preliminary stage. So once you have that outer circle, right, and somebody can, if I have a wallet in that network. So what I'm gonna do, I can transfer funds from my account, my bank account, because I have done my KYC, right? So I can transfer funds from my bank account into my wallet in that network. And this money is broadly what is digital rupee, right? And if I can transact instantaneously, so initially I'm talking about consortium of banks, but once the whole system matures, we will kick out the intermediary, which is the banks. We don't want banks. Yeah, the whole system can move into this network when the system in itself is mature enough. You have government or RBI which can regulate, or if they can act as an arbitrator or an adjudicator in case of any issues. So you have best of both. You have within that circle, once you're within that circle, you are free, right? Nobody's tracking whom you're transferring. It's peer to peer, right? So that's the model which we have proposed broadly. I hope, Ms. Shruti, any
So the data
supplementary.
protection also can be ensured through this model.
Now, data protection from the perspective, when I'm transacting, suppose I want to send 100 rupees to Ms. Shruti, right? So, data protection can be managed because RBI knows who I am, Government of India knows who I am, but nobody else does. I can still have my public address, which is alphanumeric. So it would be de-identification which can take place, right? So de-identification, because you're bringing in data protection, it has two concepts: anonymization and de-identification. So it's about de-identification. Like, there will be a code, and with that code there will be a name attached, but the details regarding it would only exist with the admin node, which is the government or the RBI, not even the bank's intermediary.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Abhinav, for your answer. Uh, any comments from Aneesh, sir?
It's really an interesting model, and I was listening very carefully. But I had one doubt regarding this model. So what is its difference with the present existing banking system? How it differs rather than it is in digital platform?
Right,
Okay,
right.
okay, okay. So it's now it's time to go for the concluding remarks.
Okay.
I invite our esteemed chair, Mr. Ajay Singh. So please give your concluding remarks first. Ajay, sir.
Mr. May I ask a question to Mr. Abhinav first?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay, sir.
If Mr. Tariq,
Yeah,
allows.
it's okay, sir. Okay.
How do you see the scope of digital currency in India, where majority of population is not familiar with the digitalization and all? As one of the speakers spoke, where the difficulties the elderly people have faced during the pandemic. How do you see
Right,
the scope when the majority of population is not aware about? There are a handful of people who are
right,
aware of it.
right, right. So, see, the broad idea is, I completely agree with you, right? What you're saying, that we are still not mature society, information technology wise. But the broad idea is, आज की डेट में सब्जी वाला भी UPI यूज कर रहा है, right? So
Yeah.
the broad, we are evolving, and that's why I said that it's a proposed model, and as and when we become mature, right, as and when we become mature, we will kick out the banks from the whole perspective, for the reason, as Dr. Aneesh has asked. I'll respond to him. So the broad idea is, the banks at present, they are intermediaries, right?
Yeah.
So the money is issued by RBI or the government, but it comes to us through the banks. But however, over a period of time, once the system matures, we have a developed system, we wouldn't require bank accounts at all, because the all money which I want to have, I can store it in my wallet in that network itself, and I can send it to whosoever I want. Although it will take time, people are still evolving. There are technological concerns, like not every nook and corner of the nation have internet at this point of time. So it will evolve. Immediately, if you're saying, can we implement it, even I have certain doubts.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Sir,
Abhinav.
sir, if you allow, last one question, sir. As you know that 5th April 2018, RBI
Right, right.
directly they have banned this cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in India with
I
a
would correct
circular.
you there. It was, the circular was on 6th of April. 5th of
5th
April
of April,
was the
that
annual report.
yes, that report date. Okay. So
Yeah.
now question is that, sir, so whether they are going to be interested, that they are going to be the particular admin in this case.
Mr. Raghunath, you have answered that in your own presentation.
No,
because
no,
you
that I
yourself
have
said,
answered. But sir, the seriousness, because RBI and that this particular government, they are
right,
not
right.
going to come into any conclusion, sir. That is the thing.
No, it's certainly debatable. Even if you look at today, RBI wants all the private cryptocurrencies to be banned. There is a little difference there because I'm not talking about private cryptocurrencies. I'm talking about the digital rupee which will be issued by the RBI, right? And
Yes.
issuance of digital rupee, both RBI and government are on the same page. However, the recent debate where one of the participants also talked about that finance minister, she herself is inclined towards private cryptocurrency, whereas RBI is ardent against private cryptocurrency. But the my model is not about private cryptocurrency. It's the legal tender digital rupee, which will be issued by either the government or the RBI. So it's a completely different, you look at from different perspective. Now, something which I am issuing, I'll have trust. I don't have trust on private players, right? Because even we talked about the cyber crimes, the ICOs which you talked about, right? So overnight they boom up, but then in 5 days, the money is gone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abhinav, for your active participation. Sir, finally, give your concluding remarks. Ajay Singh. Ajay Singh, sir. Sir. Ajay, sir.
It's been a pleasure with all of you today for giving a presentation. And just I would like to summarize that the government in this case was skeptical regarding the digital currency was because of as it has been said that it is untraceable. And the government and the digital currencies are not backed by any government or any commodity. Therefore, it can lose its value if the promoter of the VC stops trading activity.
Okay. Okay, sir. Noted, sir.
And the proposed bill that has been proposed on the 23rd of November 2021 serves to introduce a level of uniformity of understanding and serves to bring the various government agencies involved on the same page, which provides for providing security, also helping to regulate the otherwise unregulated markets and to prevent its misuse.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. So over to Aneesh, sir, our co-chair.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to be with all of you and to listen wonderful presentations. So, as most of the speakers observe, it's a gray area. It's it to government has to come up with a policy whether we should go with private cryptocurrencies, whether only RBI backed cryptocurrency should be used. So it has to be clarified by the government. Anyway, we are hoping this session will introduce a new legislation. That's what central government was pointed out earlier. So in winter session, they may introduce a legislation. Thereby, they will ban all private cryptocurrency or digital currencies, and thereby thereafter they will come up with a RBI banked cryptocurrency. And if that be the case, I am sure this cryptocurrency will ensure some sort of security. Whatever negatives are there, all that can be covered through this legislation. So we are all waiting for that legislation. So once legislation is there, then it would be better to deliberate on that. So anyway, it's a very good attempt made by all the speakers to delve into the niceties of all this technology, and it was a pleasure to be with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay Singh, sir, and Anish, sir. And I'm sure our participant or presenter will incorporate your suggestions in their future study. So thank you very much for your joining with this technical session 4 on digitalization and currency. Thanks for your participation. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much. Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so
Advocate
much.
Ajay Singh.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, British Pillai, for giving very valuable time of yours
Thank you,
and bringing
Asim.
out
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining.
and guiding these all presenters today in this technical session. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for joining. And shortly we'll host you, all of you, in the campus, obviously, in coming time, as soon as this everything pandemic gets, settled. So thank you so much to all
Thank
participants
you.
and
Goodbye, sir.
viewers
Take
and
care.
watchers.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Stay safe. Stay care. Thank you.
क्रिप्टो करेंसी भाई, क्रिप्टो करेंसी के बारे में पढ़ो, जजमेंट पढ़। हेलो।